themselves and surprise everybody. That I doubt, but really I'm curious to see between the Saints and Tampa, who's going to win that division. That's, for me, I can't wait to see that. That's going to be – I get the feeling that's going to come down to the last 2-3 weeks, maybe even the last week itself.
And a lot of people are talking about, of course, Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay is starting to look like the Browns, what we saw last year. The Browns brought in a lot of different individuals, but Baker Mayfield did not get it done, and they were kind of flying under the radar this year. I want to see if they can actually make it to the playoffs because on paper, that team is very talented. And then another team that I'm looking, forward to watching, of course, is the Arizona Cardinals. They got D-Hop. They have a nice offensive line. They got a great running back. And I love that young quarterback that they have in Murray. I think that they can do something special this year, and I think they can actually, go this year into the postseason. So that's going to be pretty interesting. And nobody is talking about Phillip Rivers in that Indianapolis Colts. Nobody's talking about the Colts.
Not at all, no. Very under the radar in Indianapolis. It's going to be interesting to see what he does there.
I like it. They have a good defense already, as we know, especially with Darius Leonard. I love him. I think he's one of the better young defensive players just in general. I love watching him. They have a very good offensive line now. Of course, now that Andrew Luck is gone, their offensive line is improving. I'm sure Andrew Luck is sitting at home thinking, where the heck was this, the past few years when I was playing, where was this? Phillip Rivers has always been a good quarterback, if you ask me. I thought that draft class as a whole was really good, actually. I think arguably Eli just statistically may have been the weakest. But again, the draft class as a whole I think was really great. And Phillip Rivers has always kind of gone under the radar only because not a lot of playoff experience or no championships, none of that. I think this very well could be a year where you see the playoffs for Phillip Rivers, and he wins a playoff series, and C maybe wins a Super Bowl. Who knows?
Oh.
Not in that division. Nah.
You never know. My thing is, it's been such a crazy year. I wouldn't even be surprised anymore. I wouldn't even be surprised just because it's been that wild of a year.
Look, if Phillip Rivers was Phillip Rivers in his prime, then maybe I'd give you that. But in that division, the Titans, I think, are the class of that division. So the Titans are going to be hard to beat. They just added Jadeveon Clowney, so that defense gets better. The Texans aren't going to quite be as good, but they'll be better, I think, than the Colts. I don't think the Colts quite have the firepower that those two teams have. And plus, there's a lot of good teams in the AFC especially the Chiefs, Ravens, Steelers. Steelers are going to be back. There's just too many teams, and Phillip Rivers is way past his prime. He might have a decent season. We just lost Jake, I guess. But there's no way I see Phillip Rivers, who is let me add Jake back in. If I added him in.
I'm back.
There we go. But there's no way that Phillip Rivers, who's way past his prime, is going to lead that team to the playoffs, let alone the Super Bowl, past Patrick Mahomes, past Lamar Jackson, past the Steelers and Big Ben. I just can't see it. Past the Titans.
You don't see playoffs at all, not even in a wild card?
No. The Texans and Titans, I think the Texans end up getting the first wild card, and then you'll probably get either a team like Miami or a team like or Baltimore. One of those teams getting the other wild card. Whoever wins the division out of the Steelers, Ravens, the other one gets it.
I'm pretending you didn't just say
Miami has a shot, depending.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing.
Plays.
Hold on, John. Time out. You really think to tell me that you think Miami is going to play better than Indianapolis and going to get the wild card spot?
It depends.
Forget anything I've said up to this point. You really believe that?
Depends on if Tua plays or not. If Tua's there, then I think yes. But if not, then no.
John,
they got one in that division.
But none of us know. But none of us know if Tua's going to play. They keep saying different things. We don't know. Fitzpatrick could end up unfortunately hurt. Tua comes in, and I think as soon as Tua comes in, it's a dynamic in the AFC East and in the AFC.
Wow.
That's John, that's a bold take.
just my
Yeah.
you're all good.
What was that?
Like,
And
John?
I'm also
down
looking
there,
forward to like
also,
looking at the NFC
maybe
East as
trust me
well
on this
too.
one.
What do you see in the NFC East? A couple of Giant fans here not looking too hopeful.
Nope.
Well, I got Carson Wentz over here, so he's like Sam Bradford now these days.
Yeah, he can't stay healthy for anything. It's a shame.
I mean, we got Jalen Hurts, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to actually take the starting position and probably like the second half of the season if Wentz can't get it going.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they say they drafted him to have him kind of in a Taysom Hill sort of role, how the Saints have with Drew Brees, kind of have him as almost as an extra wide receiver at times, or just almost as a special teams player to kind of be wherever. I wouldn't be surprised. And I honestly forget that Wentz might not be able to get it going. I wouldn't be surprised if Wentz gets hurt and we see him play, because Wentz's track record is hurt constantly, like we just said. Wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, I hate to say it. I look. I mean, I don't like the Eagles. I enjoy watching them struggle, but I don't want to see anybody get hurt. But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't come as a shock to me to hear, Carson Wentz gets hurt and breaks another whatever. It would not come as any surprise whatsoever. He could be one of the best quarterbacks in the game, probably. He could be in my opinion, he could probably be on the level with a guy like maybe Deshaun Watson. He could kind of be in that tier of like, maybe not quite at the elite level, because I would say elite is probably, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I put the Deshaun Watsons just below the elite, just on the cusp, maybe just a little bit below it. If Carson Wentz could stay healthy, he would be up there with them, if you ask me.
But Deshaun Watson had D-Hop, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see if he can do it without D-Hop.
Could make the elite jump, absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to be something to look forward to seeing.
And the Cowboys,
maybe he goes out there and tries to prove himself. Who knows? Maybe he says, I lost my best guy. I want to go out there and prove that, I was good and it wasn't because of him. Who knows?
Well, they got Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is a definitely fiery wide receiver out there if he can stay healthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think it's going to be the Cowboys out of the NFC. I think they're stacked.
Yeah.
I agree, and I'm a diehard Eagles fan. Like, they got CeeDee Lamb. Amari Cooper out there. Dax Prescott has definitely improved since last year. They have a great offensive line. It's just their defense always struggles, especially defensive end type of aspect. And their safeties. Their safeties have been getting burnt. The last three games that they had before. They didn't get the postseason spot. But nevertheless, they need to strengthen their wide receiving core, of course, their safeties, and as well as defensive linemen, because they was getting torched last year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Cowboys are the easy pick just because Washington's not going anywhere. They suck. Giants are almost just as bad. They suck too. The Eagles, if Carson Wentz stays healthy, maybe they'll be better, but only time will tell. I never know with that team, to tell you the truth, only because of Carson Wentz's injuries. And then if Jalen Hurts comes in, only time would tell what would happen with him. No idea. Cowboys offensively, I would say arguably the scariest on paper looking offense, maybe next to the Chiefs. They may be on paper even scarier now because the Chiefs have had opt-outs. I could argue that just on paper, they are the scariest team, especially if CeeDee Lamb plays up to the expectation. Then you got Michael Gallup, CeeDee Lamb, and that's not mentioning their number one receiver, Amari Cooper, who is already a proven star. That's a scary team. And that's not also mentioning star running back Ezekiel Elliott. You got Dak, who is a multiple-time Pro Bowler. He looks great. But, Fago, I agree with what you said. My biggest concern is their defense. It was funny. I was doing a fantasy draft, I don't know, it was earlier this week, and I was talking to somebody about it, and I said, do not take the Cowboys defense. They on paper look fantastic. They, rank-wise, they look great, but they're just not a defense to have, if you ask me. I don't trust them. And yet again for the millionth time. It feels like I think it was earlier this week or maybe late last week. Sean Lee out again.
Oh, he is
healthy. Out again. I mean, this has got to be what, the fifth time he's been out for. I'm not sure if it was the full season, but he's out again for sure for an extended period of time. Kills the Cowboys because he's a great linebacker. He really is. When he plays, he's one of the scariest out there, but he never plays. So again, just Cowboys defense, just another big blow.
And then another storyline that a lot of people are talking about is the Cam Newton, and then is he's going to have a better season than Tom Brady. And that's going to be pretty like an intriguing story in itself, because I want to see if he can revive his career. You know, if he could go back to that 2015 Cam Newton. And then it's going to be pretty interesting to see how the Patriots would implicate him in the system now, because they always had the traditional quarterback. Now we're talking about a running quarterback now. So that is definitely exciting to watch as well, too.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And then you got the Belichick-Brady conversation that, you know, depending on who's doing well, you know, who was the key to that team.
And Bill Belichick is saying more praises to Cam Newton in the past 3 weeks, they said, than Bill Belichick is saying praises to Tom Brady in the last 20 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, but I think it's knowing what your team, what your guy needs. Cam may need the praise. That may be how to get the best out of him, and maybe Tom liked people that were hard on him. When you coach a team, you got to know how to get your A game out of your guys and know, you know, this guy needs me to get down on him, or he needs me to do this. Maybe Cam needs praise, or maybe because Cam's new, he wants to build him up and get that confidence. I
think it was more of a passive-aggressive thing by Bill Belichick, kind of take digs at Brady. He's like, hey, I never give you praise. Look at my new son. I'm giving him praise. So it's kind of like a dig at Brady. It's kind of like using Cam Newton to take shots at Brady, because they obviously don't have a great relationship, Belichick and Brady. It did not end well. So I think it's more Belichick taking shots at Brady indirectly, because he knows that would eat Brady up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, if I had to choose who's going to have the better season, yes, Cam Newton is younger. Yes, Cam Newton has the aspect that, you know, that third dimension of being able to run really well. And obviously he's got a great coach in Bill Belichick, but Tom Brady, granted, does have Bruce Arians, which is another fantastic coach. I take Tom Brady not because he's the GOAT or any of that nonsense. Forget all of that. Tom Brady is not what he used to be, and that's a fact. I just feel like with all the weapons Tom Brady has, that's going to be his biggest ally. Is he's got Chris Godwin, Leonard Fournette, Mike Evans, O.J. Howard. Even if Gronk is half of what he used to be, he's still not going to be terrible. He's still going to be a viable player nonetheless. He's got Sean McCoy. He just, the list goes on and on and on, and it feels like it just continues to go forever. The point is, that's what he has, but what does Cam Newton really have? Julian Edelman, N'Keal Harry, who I have no idea what to expect from him, because when he played one game, he played a handful of games maybe last. I don't know how many games he played last season. He was hurt a lot of the season, so I don't know how that's going to be. Patriots just don't have a lot offensively in terms of players that are going to support Cam Newton, and I think that's going to be his biggest reason that he's not going to beat Tom Brady this season, is just based on weapons. Tom Brady could play half as well as Cam Newton, but if he plays half as well with all those weapons, it doesn't matter, because Cam Newton could be on an MVP-like level again, but if he has nobody to help him out around him, it's not going to matter in the end. It's not going to do anything, because Lamar Jackson was great last season, and he was on an MVP level, but it still wasn't all him. He had guys to help him around him that helped him to at least reach the numbers he did. Obviously, the rushing was mainly him, but still, his all-around game was there. Patrick Mahomes 2 seasons ago, same thing. Guys around him. You got to have guys around you to have, you know, a really great season. I think that's going to be Cam Newton's biggest issue, because they didn't really improve that offense otherwise. They don't really have much that's new.
And I agree. Go ahead.
Real quick, the Celtics or Raptors were double over.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
2 overtimes, man.
Wow. Great game.
Hey, the Raptors are playing for their life, man.
Yeah.
So who you got going to the finals?
I like the Clippers, and out of the East right now, probably the Celtics.
I said it before earlier in the show. It almost pains me to say it with John just next to me on screen, but I like the Heat just with the way they're playing. I love the Heat right now. And I'm with JB. I like the Clippers a little bit. I think the Clippers will have a slight edge. I think that's going to be a close series, but I still would choose the Clippers in the end.
And I got the Clippers and Boston going together. Like I'm a diehard Lakers fan, but I personally don't see the Lakers going to the finals because their bench is horrific, man. They can't get no bench production out of Kyle Kuzma like that on a consistent basis. Rondo actually did pretty well. I think he had like 19 yesterday, which was crazy. But small ball for Houston is definitely their Achilles heel. But it would be crazy. Like I had put this on my Facebook yesterday. It'd be crazy if the 2 small ball teams actually make the finals, Boston and the Rockets. Anything can happen. It is 2020.
Yeah.
That would definitely be strange.
And
that would be interesting turn of events.
We've seen these bubbles where the Islanders are in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Heat are in the Eastern Conference Finals in their sport. Not that these teams can't make it, but you see these top seeds getting knocked off. And like you said, it's a crazy year. And in base, the Yankees are at least going into today 500. Who would have expected that? Astros were a game above 500 going into today. So, in this weird season for all these sports, you're just seeing wacky things happen. So you're right. I mean, anything can happen.
And it's probably you're just seeing a little bit of rush because a lot of people didn't really have that time and that chemistry together. So you're seeing a lot of rush right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Getting back to football, what happened with Von Miller? Did they announce he's out for a while now? Did they figure out what the injury was today?
Yes. Go ahead, John. You got it.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say yes, and I think
essentially. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You got it. I'm sorry.
All right. I got it. Essentially, his tendon. I guess it got flipped over the bone. I guess so, I don't know exactly how that works, but his tendon got flipped over the bone. It's 5 to 6 months, but they're optimistic that there's a chance that it could be 3 months. I think that's going to be dependent on how that season goes for the Broncos. If they're not in it, then they're not going to rush him back, and he'll be back next year. If they're in it and they're having a good season, then I think that they go to the doctor, they go to him, and they see where he's at. And if he has a chance, and I think that they go from there.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to totally depend on how they're playing. If they have even a remote chance at the playoffs, maybe they try and bring him back in. I don't see that happening this season. I think what they really need to do is just give him the time off, especially because if this team has aspirations in the future, they want him around for the next few seasons. Don't risk making it worse because you never know what could happen. And if you make it worse unintentionally, obviously, you make it worse, it could be career-ending for all you know. You never know with these injuries. Anything can always happen. You got to be really, really careful with that. So I'm sure realistically they'll just play it safe and give him all the time he needs, even if this is the full 6 months. And even if the team needs him, they'll probably just play it safe to not risk, especially with a talent like him. I don't think you can take that risk.
Not at all, no.
I definitely agree.
So who do you guys see coming out of what do you see for the Super Bowl right now? Night before.
I was just about to ask. It's hard to tell because on paper some of these teams are looking extraordinary, They're looking like the team to beat. Of course, you got the Chiefs, being the Super Bowl champs this year. Of course, you can't count out the Ravens, but you just never know. They just lost Earl Thomas, and he was a big part of how successful they were last year. So that's going to be definitely interesting to see. In the AFC, I think it's just the Baltimore Ravens and and of course the Chiefs. The other guys, it just you never know what you're going to expect with the Steelers. They just getting Big Ben back, but you just never know because they blew off a playoff spot last season too. It seems like 4 games to get to the postseason, they blow those 4 games, and those are the 4 games that they need. And that's what had happened. That's how the Titans snuck up into the playoffs and did some damage within, the Patriots and, of course, the Ravens and stuff. So it's hard to tell right now. I'm a diehard Eagles fan, but, I got it. I feel like we're just going to make it to the postseason and struggle to get there. But the team to look out for, just on paper alone is, the Saints. You can't never count out the Saints. I like Michael Thompson out there. They got a great offensive line. They got a great running back, and Alvin Kamara. If they don't trade him, so they're the team to be in that division, and I see them going deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was going to say Saints for the NFC. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, the Bucks because of Tom Brady and yada yada yada." I don't want to hear it. I think the Saints are better. End of discussion. I don't care how great Tom Brady is. He's getting older. Drew Brees, I swear on my life, he seems to get better every season. He ages like fine wine. Every season it's better. When is he going to slow down? I'm waiting for it. He still seems to be playing at an unbelievable level. They got a lot of talent around him. Saints for sure. I hate to say it, but AFC again, like you just said, Fago. Again, just Chiefs, Ravens. I wish I would say, oh, there's more parity. There's a team I see. I don't see anybody right now. I mean, the season hasn't started, but those teams are so dominant. I'd be surprised to see anybody else, at least on the AFC side.
And then a lot of people are always talking about the Bucks, but the Bucks, their star wide receiver Mike Evans just got injured today, so that's a huge loss. And then you never know what you're going to expect with Gronkowski. He just took a year off.
Yeah.
He looks great. He's in fit shape. But it's a difference when you're playing on the field and you're getting tackled. And you've been going from the game from a year. So that's going to be pretty interesting to watch. And then they put in so much trust in a 40-year-old man that hasn't been in the offense that long. I don't understand why people jumping on his bandwagon.
Because he's Tom Brady and everybody sees the name and they think, all those Super Bowls, that's what they see. They don't really put the thought towards it. They just hear, oh, Tom Brady, so he's one of the best ever in the discussion. That's what people see, sadly.
Well,
you said that about Brett Favre too, and you saw what happened with Brett Favre.
Yeah, but he actually has a ton of offensive weapons now around him, which does scare me, but I don't see them going as far as everyone thinks. My honest opinion, Dallas against the Saints in the NFC Championship game. The AFC, you're going to see the Ravens and Kansas City. It's going to be Dallas against Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl.
And who's y'all sleeper team?
Oh,
that's a great question. I don't know.
As if 2020 can't get worse. You're giving us that Super Bowl? Oh man, come on.
Watch Lamar. I have no problem. I'll watch Lamar all day.
None of us want to see Dallas in the Super Bowl. Come on, don't make 2020 worse.
Listen, as a Giant fan, as much as I dislike Dallas, their offense is fun to watch. They have a good offensive team. I like watching Zeke.
I agree, but then also at the same time, it lands on the shoulders of Dak Prescott. Last year, he was phenomenal. However, you never know what to expect. Because, last year, I think he was, fighting for that contract. This year now is fighting for that contract and pride. But again, it's that offensive line, and they haven't really had chemistry within each other, in some months. So that's going to be telling a story to tell as well, too.
I personally
John, you're breaking up.
You're breaking up, buddy.
This is the thought of the century, though, because I know what he's going to say.
Seattle Seahawks are the team to beat in the NFC. That team with Russell Wilson, they've got such talent, and he does so much on that team. And they should have been there last year. They were inches away from winning that game against San Francisco, 1 seed. They would have ended up where San Francisco was. They would have ended up in the Super Bowl against Kansas City, in my opinion. So I think Seattle ends up getting to the Super Bowl this year. Seattle and Tennessee.
I can't say
Tennessee.
That's a bad pick. I don't like the Tennessee part, but Seattle.
You said Tennessee? That's the one.
Yeah.
They just got the AFC. They just got the championship game. AJ Brown getting better. Ryan Tannehill another year in the offense, and they just added James Clowney. So that team is only going to get better. And they lost 10-0 on Kansas City Chiefs, if you remember. Kansas City. So they could go on the road, play Kansas City in the AFC Championship game, and there could be no fans or a little bit of fans, and fans won't make as much of a difference as they made last season in the AFC Championship. So, Mike Vrabel's got that team, in the right direction. He's a fantastic coach. Adding Jadeveon Clowney just makes them that much better. AJ Brown, now in his second season, is going to get a lot better. So that team is just as dangerous as anybody that you'll find right now.
Who's their wide receiver? Because if I remember, it was just a Derrick Henry type of show.
AJ Brown. AJ Brown is fantastic. He broke out in his rookie year last year. He was great, and he's only going to get better. And Jonnu Smith, a young tight end that they have, he's a big guy that's tough to defend. If he comes around, they got a lot of weapons. And like I said, Mike Vrabel is a fantastic coach who came from New England. A lot of success in New England. Obviously, as a linebacker, winning Super Bowls there. So he's got the Belichick, type of build for his team. They play defense, they run the ball, that old school football mentality. So they're going to be tough to beat, and they'll be right there in the thick of things. So if I had to choose a team from the AFC, I'm going to go against the grain and not pick the Ravens or Chiefs. I'll go with the Titans.
Man, you're on your own with that one, man. Ryan Tannehill, Ryan Tannehill, he did all right, but it was just on the aspect of Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry ran the show. Without him producing 200 plus yards games, they wouldn't got to the playoffs. And then also on top of that, you have to remember the Steelers dropped a couple of games. That's why they snuck in the playoffs.
Exactly. Seattle wasn't a bad choice, though.
Yeah, Seattle's a good choice. Tennessee, you got to remember, they were up 10-0 on the Chiefs on the road in the AFC Championship game. So they had them, they had them on the ropes. So it's not like they can't do it.
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
not buying.
You heard the silence. Everybody was like, yeah.
Hey, I always get this. It's all right. I get this with my takes. I always get this with my Skip Bayless takes.
Yeah.
And the Seahawks, I definitely agree with you on the Seahawks aspect. It's just, DK Metcalf definitely have to have a productive year. Carson's have to stay, healthy. The last few years he's been injury prone. If he's healthy, that team is a threat in the playoffs. But I feel like they just need one more piece, and they need to get some offensive linemen because their offensive line is shaky as mess.
Yeah.
All right, JB. Well, do you want to wrap it up? Give thanks to all the people we need to give thanks to.
So, Fago, thanks for coming on tonight, man. We definitely appreciate it. Christy, Lisi, thanks for taking the time with us. Mark at AMG Records, thanks for the music. We appreciate it. Thanks for everybody out there listening to Journey with the Jays and watching on YouTube. We'll be back in a couple of minutes with the fantasy draft. Hopefully you guys stick around. Fago, definitely keep doing what you're doing, man. I see you everywhere. I love it. You inspire me. I know that. We've spoken many times, and I appreciate you, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on the show, and let's do it again. Maybe I'll come back next week with some takes.
Yeah.
Anytime
guys,
you want, you let us know.
Guys, make sure you check out make sure you check out Fago and all his work. He's a fantastic journalist. He is everywhere. He works his butt off in journalism, and he's just fantastic. So he's up and coming. If you don't know about him, you need to know. Now you know. If you listen to this, now you know. Check out his work because he's on it everywhere. He is just fantastic, and we are so grateful
he literally
to have him.
Goes everywhere. I mean, he posts pictures at every event.
The Super Bowl, every Super Bowl it seems like.
Man.
If y'all want to check me out for the viewers, if y'all want to check me out, you can check my Instagram at superjournalist87. My Facebook is Fago Franklin III. My LinkedIn is Fago Franklin III. You can find me on, if you want, you can just Google me, Fago Franklin III, and all my interviews will pop up, as well as the places I have been. Of course, I've been covering Super Bowl. So if any fans out there, want to cover or do some things with Super Bowl events, definitely let me know. I am the plug. So I could definitely get you into some of the events and, get your brand out there as well. So definitely let me know.
Thanks again, Fago. It was a pleasure, man. You're always welcome. Right?
Yes, I am a publicist as well, too.
You're also a publicist,
you just heard that marketing skill right there as well, too. So, yes. But, yeah, y'all can just check me out. But, yeah, thank you for having me on the show because I know y'all trying to wrap this up and get to the next segment. So, thank y'all again, and we'll talk soon, buddies.
Have a great night.
Appreciate having us.
All right, now have a blessed one.